Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Hey wife, did you know that Anchor is sponsoring our show?
Really? Don't we use Anchor to distribute our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, and we are on just about every other platform available as well, thanks to them.
Why do we use Anchor as our podcasting service?
Well, they make editing and distributing our show a breeze.
What if one of our listeners wants to start their own podcast?
Then they should head over to anchor.fm or download the app to get started.
Awesome! You guys should go do that right now! Husband!
Wife!
It's Q&A Saturday.
It sure the fuck is.
Are you ready for this?
I am ready as I'll ever be.
Do you know what we're talking about today?
I actually don't. You kind of left you to your own devices on this.
You sure did.
For you to figure out. So I'm going to be surprised here.
Yeah, well, there were only a couple of things that we had vague questions about, maybe.
Okay.
And, I mean, the story was pretty straightforward. There wasn't...
Aside from timelines, maybe, but yeah.
But we've already gone over that in our last Q&A.
Exactly.
Yep, that happened.
Right, they got them timelines fucked up.
So, I thought I would look a little bit more into some of the characters.
Okay.
One of which was the medium that Saul went to.
Yeah.
And the other one is Achish, which... is the
He's the guy that
Philistine guy.
Yeah, he trusts David beyond the shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought we would talk a little bit about them two guys.
Okay, perfect. Well, you ready to go ahead and get on into this?
Yeah, let's.
Let's do it.
Okay, so about that medium.
Yeah, about that medium.
She is referred to as the Witch of Endor.
That's a cool fucking name.
I know, right?
Like, that's one of the coolest things I've heard as a name in the Bible so far.
Exactly. And apparently she has inspired lots of art, and there's an opera, and
I'm sure with a name like that you just can't go wrong. Like you're winning right there.
Yes, I'm so into this. Like
I want to start a Twitter account for Witch of Endor.
I want to write a book that has the Witch of Endor in it. Like I'm imagining that this character that like has lived forever.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
God, I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Oh man, that's it's strong. It's
right.
It's good. It got some oomph behind it.
It sure does. That is some moxie in that name.
Right. Definitely.
Witch of Endor. Speaking of Endor, I do want to make an aside here.
Okay, sure.
So yes, you are right in that is the planet of the Ewoks from Star Wars.
Yes.
But I mean, we knew that.
Right.
But remember when I was like, I thought that it was from the Lord of the Rings, and you were like, no.
I mean, okay, if I didn't know that it was. If it is,
it is.
Okay.
It's a city in the Lord of the Rings. So
okay.
I wasn't totally crazy on that one.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Thought I'd put that out there.
Fair enough.
Okay. She's also known as a pagan oracle. Which makes sense.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. A necromancer.
A necromancer, huh?
Because she raised the dead.
When did she raise the dead?
Fucking Samuel.
Well, she brought a spirit to...
she's referred to...
She didn't bring him back to life, though.
But she raised him in that moment.
All right.
So she's referred to as a necromancer.
Okay.
There's also a word that refers to her that has been translated as ventriloquist. Somebody who's able to throw their voice.
Okay.
And that was one of her quote-unquote magical powers.
Okay.
So...
That's not very magical to me, but
I'm just putting it out there. Okay?
Yeah.
She's also referred to as the Pythoness, which I found very interesting. That is a Greek title that refers to the high priestess of the Temple of Apollo at Delphi.
So she was Roman or Greek or whatever?
No, she wasn't. She was called after that. You know what I mean? Like in reference to.
Okay.
Like they were like, you're just like the Pythoness. Kind of thing.
Okay. All right.
And and that gets into Greek and Roman history that had been around for 300 or 400 years prior to when this happened. So that would have been in their common vernacular.
Got it.
It was a place in called Pythia.
I've heard of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which Pythoness, Pythia.
Sure. Yeah.
So anyway, I just found it interesting that the Greek and Roman names of things were in their vernacular.
Right,
you know?
right. I want to go step back for just 1 second here.
Mm-hmm.
And the ventriloquist thing is still on my mind here. and only insofar as that it was like considered this great feat back then. Like, if you could just step back in time and do some basic like fucking bar tricks, you'd be considered, I mean, amazing. Right? Like, doesn't that make you want to just like get a time machine and be like, go back and impress a bunch of people and be like,
sure,
I am the
great
king
husband,
of Condor,
able to
whatever,
do great things.
Whatever.
I mean, just imagine like if you can shuffle cards really well,
right?
And do some of those card shuffling
even have
tricks.
cards in the first place, you know.
Okay, yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, true.
Juggling, I don't know how big juggling was back then, but I can juggle.
You could juggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can even toss one under my leg and then still keep going.
You can roll your R's.
I can roll my R's.
Do it.
No. I almost did, but no.
I know you looked at me and started to and then didn't.
I'm not performing on the Q&A.
I cannot roll my R's.
Right.
So I have no magics.
Yeah.
But I just...
It is what it is, you know?
It is what it is. So there's also another word, moving on, where they talked about the witch went to her fill in the blank.
Okay.
And, you know, when Saul went to the witch and he was like, hey, I want you to bring up Samuel because I need to talk to dude and God ain't helping me.
Right.
So they went to her fill in the blank. And I forget how we read it in the Bible version that we read, but that word, they're not sure if it's a ritual pit used to regularly summon spirits, or a familiar spirit, or a talisman, or a wineskin.
Wineskin sounds as good as any.
It could have been any of those things.
Just get drunk and we're going to bring a spirit about it. Come on, let's do this, guys.
You just got to drink a little bit of this. So nobody knows exactly what it was. Could have been any of those things.
Got it.
And she claimed at first when Samuel was rising, remember, and she had to describe him to Saul because Saul couldn't see what was happening. He could hear once Samuel started talking.
Probably because she was throwing her voice.
Well, it was believed... yeah, exactly. It was believed back then that the medium could see the spirit but not hear, and that the person that was coming could hear but not see. Which kind of does lend toward the ventriloquist
right?
thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, if we know that she could throw her voice, then we already know she's fucking lying.
Well, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, not that we didn't know ahead already, but I'm just saying, like, the skills that she has specifically are perfect for manipulating this whole outcome.
I am not saying, period, the end, she was a ventriloquist.
Right.
I am saying that one of the words used to describe her does translate to ventriloquist.
Got it.
Meaning that is something that could have been used to describe her, whether she was able to do that or not.
Got it.
So I'm not saying she's a ventriloquist, but she might have been.
Understood.
So anyway, when she was claiming to see Samuel rise up, she also, in some translations, claimed to see quote unquote gods arising, which could have been angels or spirits or demons or her imagination.
Maybe she's just throwing shit out until something like Saul's like, yeah, that's the one I want to talk to.
Right?
You know?
Well, that's the thing though. She is not supposed to have known what Samuel looked like. And so when she described him...
okay, but like, how hard is it to describe old
man in a robe?
Old prophet dude, right? He's friends with you. I know what you look like.
Right.
This is old prophet dude. So I'm going to describe an old prophet dude.
Well, in the Bible, she just described him as old man in a robe.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's not... He's dead. He was a prophet. Right. You want to talk to him. Okay, it's an old man in the robe. There you go.
Yep.
Good?
Exactly.
All right, perfect.
So, I was reading about all the different arguments as to whether or not this thing actually happened.
Sure.
Okay? So... we have two options. Either Samuel did not appear or Samuel did appear.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the Samuel did not appear box, we have, then what happened? So obviously it was either a fake, a hallucination, or a demonic spirit.
I'm going to skip the demonic spirit and say it was one of the first two.
Probably right. I don't see why not. But it is fun. I mean, she's the Witch of Endor. It's fun to think that maybe...
I love the name. You know what? Like, all of religion is just putting on a fucking show, right?
Right.
Religion and especially, mediums, it's putting on a show. And maybe even the medium believes their bullshit. But, like, it's still a show. You're saying...
I think it's fun to believe in the possibility that there was magic. Okay. But I know that goes against what we're doing here, so...
No, it goes against my feelings on the matter. So, like, I don't feel like there are these things. I feel like it's a fucking show. No, now, I believe people can convince themselves that they really have these powers, because you can convince yourself of pretty much anything if you really want to.
True.
But... it doesn't make it any more real.
No, I totally agree with you.
It can be fun. I can admit that it could be fun.
Right. My logic is right there with you.
Is not there for me.
My logic is right there with you. I absolutely know that this did not happen.
Okay.
But it's fun to think.
But
fine, what if it did? Kind of like...
And with a name like Witch of Endor, you get some, credit for the name. So...
Yep.
I mean, I'm down with that.
It's kind of like, if you go get your fortune read, it's fun to think, what if it's true? What if it really happened?
No, I mean, I'm guilty of liking to read, horoscopes and shit sometimes, just because it's fun.
It's fun.
Not because I actually believe it, but I'm like, what do these fucking idiots got to say that I'm going to be, what's going to happen today?
Exactly.
Or your fortune cookie, fortune. Although fortune cookie fortunes have started sucking ass.
They don't tell fortunes. They just say things like, oxygen is free. You should breathe it.
Right, yeah.
Like...
it's bullshit.
They just tell you like things that are facts.
Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe
pens have ink.
They must have been sued. There's got to be a story there, right? Like they had to have been sued for giving the wrong fortune to somebody.
Yeah.
Or something, and so they're like, okay, let's just take this back to something stupid.
Yeah. They are not fortunes.
Right.
They are not.
Not at all.
Okay, so option 1 was that Samuel did not appear, and that's what we're definitely leaning
for.
Option 2 was that Samuel did appear.
Okay, yeah.
But the question is, they weren't supposed to do that because that's against God's word. Right. Right?
Yeah.
So that would mean either that the witch used demonic power.
Sure.
Which, okay, because it has been shown in the Bible that, not that we've read a lot of it yet, obviously.
Right,
but
right.
We'll come across occasions where demons can take the image of other people.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure.
And the other thing would be that God used the medium to raise up
I find that hard
Samuel.
to believe, just because it's explicitly said that mediums are to be taken out and stoned to death by the community.
Exactly.
Like, this is not okay by God.
Yeah,
so why would God implement a tool that he deems wrong and bad?
The only thing that I would say, and I'm just putting this out there as a possibility, is that Saul strove so hard trying to get God to pay attention to him in any way possible that, God is a pissy fuck.
Well, yeah. I mean,
maybe God was like...
We've been reading the Bible, right?
Yeah. So God maybe was like, okay, you little asshole. And so he brought Samuel up to tell... Because remember what Samuel said. You are going to die, stupid.
Right.
Because you are doing everything wrong.
Right.
Right?
Including this.
Yeah. So maybe it was like God's final, like, practical joke against Saul.
Sure.
Which is in keeping with his pissy disposition.
But it's also in keeping with his, like, back and forth as to what really matters and what doesn't really matter. Because it really mattered in chapters past that you don't use mediums and mediums don't exist.
No, I totally agree.
So.
I'm totally with you on that. I'm just putting out there a possibility.
Yep.
So that's all I had on the Witch of Endor.
Okay. I mean,
which I just love that name.
It's great.
I can't help myself. I'm just, I've got to write that character.
Right.
Okay, so moving on to Achish. Okay. Do you remember who Achish is?
He was David's friend. Well, he's a Philistine. He's David's friend.
Yeah. So, first thing is, I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong.
Sure.
It's probably Achish.
Okay.
So just want to put that out there when I was studying up on him.
Right.
Oops, my bad. Sorry,
right,
Achish. Right. Okay, so it means his name is more likely a title, like a general title of royalty.
Okay.
That was applicable to all Philistine kings. And I have a reason for that.
Okay.
That I'll get into in a minute. Okay. So the monarch described as Achish, the king of Gath, was the guy who David sought refuge with when he fled from Saul the first time.
Sure.
Okay. He's called Abimelech, meaning father of the king.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
And it was probably either the same king or his son. And I'm tending to think his son, and I'll tell you why in a minute.
Okay.
With the same name described as Achish, the son of Maok.
Okay.
To whom David reappeared a second time at the head of a band of 600 warriors.
Got it.
Okay?
Yep.
I did not realize that Achish was the same guy that David went to twice.
Ah.
Remember the first time he went to Achish, or he went to the Philistines, and then he was like, oh, they don't like me, so I think I might be in danger. So he feigned craziness.
Yes.
And ran away.
Yeah, yeah.
It was the same guy.
Really?
But how would he not have recognized him? So it couldn't have been the same guy. It had to be that Achish is a title.
Okay.
And so when he went back several years later, clearly
this is another Achish.
It had to be another Achish because the first one, if it was still the first one, he would have recognized him and not liked him a lot.
Right. Got it.
So it was either his son or just somebody else with the same title.
Okay.
Okay,
sure.
right? That's my opinion.
Yep.
That makes sense to me. And remember when Achish was like, David's been with me for several years.
Yes.
It turns out he was only with him a year and 4 months.
What?
Yeah. So what the fuck?
I mean, it seemed like they jumped the timeline there pretty quickly.
Right?
And I was questioning that at the time.
And that's why I was like, wait a minute. And I had to jot that down as something to tell you. Because
but now they're saying it's literally only a year and 4 months. And like, that's
not several years.
You know, I mean, they don't have like... The time isn't the same to them, right? Like, time is... They don't have cell phones and shit that's pointing out what time of day and day of the month it is.
But how many winters have we gone through?
Right.
One, motherfucker. One. You've gone through one fucking winter.
Right.
Not several.
Right.
Maybe I would give you 2 because you can't remember things, but several indicates probably like 4.
Right.
Do you really think he was with you for 4 winters? No, stupid.
Right.
So, anyway, there was that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And historians of the ancient Near East agree that David probably lived around 1000 BCE. So that's when all this shit happened.
Gotcha.
Which is why it was important for me to tell you that with regard to the Pythoness.
Right.
Basing
it off of the Greek mythology and all that stuff.
When that would have occurred.
Got it.
Okay?
Yep.
So that's what I have for you today. Are you impressed? Are you pleased?
I'm impressed with the name Witch of Endor for sure.
Right?
That's an impressive title for sure.
Did you learn a thing?
I mean, I always learn a thing. I love the Q&As. I think they're awesome.
Did you have fun?
I had fun. Yes.
Do you look forward to many more?
I do look forward to many more.
Okay. I don't know why I'm asking you.
I mean, you just,
I'm just saying words now.
You do a good job, wife.
Oh my God, thank you, husband. That's what I was looking for. I'm such a needy fuck. I needed that validation.
All right. Well, so that's all we got today for the Q&A?
That's all we got today for the Q&A.
All right, let's hop on out of here and we'll see. We got the replay tomorrow, and then we've got 1 Samuel chapter 31 coming up on Monday, correct?
Which is the final chapter of 1 Samuel.
That's amazing.
Yep.
All right. Well, then we will see you guys then.
Bye.
Hey, wife. I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.